Hello and welcome back to Fan Geektastic. Today I'm going over some comic books that I've recently purchased in a collection. They were mostly what's going to end up in my dollar bin, but I'm going through them, and right now I'm in the Ghost Riders, and as you can see by the discoloration, these comic books have not been taken out of these bags and had the boards replaced or anything since probably they were put in these originally in the 90s. So the previous comic book that I took out was another copy of this one, issue number 22, and because of what the backing board looked like, I decided I was going to show why you want to change out your backing boards, in case y'all haven't seen this before. If you look at the comic book itself, there's really no issues with it. It's in really good shape. It's got a little divot right here, and if it was worth more, then I would press it and get rid of that little divot, but it's not worth it for me. Now, this is the part that I wanted to show you. And if you look at the back here, I don't know if you can see it all that well. See if turning on this light will help any. You can see Three Musketeers showing through here. You can see other words up here. Well, when you look at the back of this comic book, you see you make the rules, which you make the rules written backwards, but you don't see Three Musketeers. That is, until you open it up. This had so much acid in this ink that it bled through the back side of this cover and onto the backing board and made that Three Musketeers written across here. That's the reason why you want to change out your backing boards. Now let's see this next one here. As you can see, the backing board's browned. Defeat the tape. And let's pull out the comic book, and there is no wording on the back of this one, just a nice little edge discoloration. And that's because the ink that they used on the back here wasn't very acidic, even though it's the same advertisement. It didn't leach through the way it normally would, but the pages, the acids from the pages leaked through, and that's what caused the browning on the edges. So get that out of the way. Grab another backing board. Grab a bag. Now here's another one. As I was going through, I found another one where I don't know why they did it, where they put the comic book in upside down. I find that it actually causes them to have issues more later on than if you put them in where the opening's at the top. And I think that's mostly because of the way moisture collects on plastic. It'll bead and it'll end up down at the bottom, and that will allow moisture to seep right here along the edge, and it can get up to about a quarter to a third of the book and cause some major problems. So always put the opening at the top. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see it all that well, there is discoloration from the card advertisement on the back of this here. And this one right here is actually a non-coated backing board. Usually they're browner than this. All right, let's see if this one displays a little better. You can see, looks like a basketball player, I guess. There's a baseball player over here. It says player photo cards here. The other stuff is backwards. So this is another one where it's bleeding through to both sides of the page. So we got the Fleer Ultra, which is the baseball guy here, the card for Tony Gwynn, Ultra offer, and 2 cards here, the big words up here, and then whenever you open it up, you get the Fleer basketball, which is this guy here, this guy over here, a little Fleer logo down here. So a lot of acids in this one also. Now, even though it's showing all that acid, when you open it up and you look at the white, you're not seeing a bunch of discoloration. And that yellow is supposed to be yellow because there's the white over here. That's fine. Teeth are white there. This page is nice and white. Comparing it to this, still pretty white. The bubbles are still white. So, I don't know. They seem to have made it through fairly well with as much acid as they were shown as having. So, I don't know. They might have come out actually better than the comic books I have in my collection, so I might want to check through my Ghost Riders and see if I need any of these in a better condition. Now this is the one I showed you earlier that had all the browning. And I open it up and I'm looking at it, and it is the absolute worst whenever it comes to how dark the acid came through. I mean, you can almost make out, full sentences of the stuff that came out the right direction. Now, it's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, so Rick Moranis here is backwards. But when you open it up to the inside, the Game Boy, you can see Game Boy here, the circle for the basketball. So, Game Boy written up here. The shoe kind of threw it off because of the different colors have a different acidity. So, when you're dealing with comic books, your bag and board need to be replaced about the same spacing as like a mattress. You want to do it about once every 8 years. I do the same thing with my cards. I change out the bag on my cards about once every 8 years. Now, one other thing is, back in the 90s they did it a lot. They do it sometimes nowadays, is these polybagged. And I keep hearing from people all the time, pull your comics out of the polybag. The polybags were not designed to keep your comics from degrading, that the acids in the bags are going to cause issues. And the thing is, this board is a non-coated board, and it's been in this with this comic book probably since it was originally bagged, because as I said, a board that's not coated on either side, I haven't seen these things in 20 plus years. So this had to have been from the 90s and some store's way of trying to save a little extra money. And it has not turned colors due to the acidity in the polybag inks and other issues with having stuff in a polybag. So in all actuality, in all the years that I've been collecting and all the polybagged items that I have, it's pretty much the same thing as buying like a mint on card action figure. It is not going to bother the comic book at all in 95% of the time. And that's because the ink is on the outside of the bag, not the inside. Alright, I keep coming across a bunch of weird things going on with this this guy's collection. And the next thing that I found was this. And that is, you can see right here, still got the backing board, but it's inside. That's absorbing all the acid, which is weird that it didn't do it on the other side, because this is yet another one that is not coated on either side. Thank you for joining me today as I go over why you should change out your bags and boards. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And for everything you're a fan of, everything you geek out about, this is Fan Geek-tastic, and we're here for you.